And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your honorary host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome to the show Kim Giarratano, here to tell us about her brand new book out tomorrow, Death of a Dancing Queen. Kim, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Well, thank you for having me. And I brought it as a visual guide. It shines.
Gorgeous. Oh, she's shiny.
She shines. I'm hoping she'll shine across the bookstore and say, come and buy me.
She does.
Yes. So Death of a Dancing Queen is what I lovingly refer to as my East Coast Jewish Veronica Mars. So if you're a fan of Veronica Mars, like I am, this is like the East Coast Jewish version. It's about a 24-year-old named Billie Levine, and she revamps her grandfather's private investigation business in order, like hoping that the hours would be flexible so she could kind of help take care of her mom who has early onset Alzheimer's disease. So she and her brother have to really like work together to provide care for their mom who lives at home but really needs it. And she sets up corner in the her favorite booth at her North Jersey Jewish deli, you know, because she's got free pickles and coffee, and she meets clients there to take their cases. And her first case is a drug-addled college student named Tommy Russo, whose girlfriend has gone AWOL, and he's worried about her. And so she agrees to take on the case because she needs the cash. And she's hoping this will be easy money, right? She's just like, the kid clearly has problems. His girlfriend's just ghosting him. But if it was easy, it wouldn't be a book. So that doesn't happen. And what inevitably happens is she winds up getting embroiled in not one murder, but two, and a feud, a long-standing feud between a neo-Nazi skinhead group and a Jewish mob. And it's fun. Like, I know it's fun. I know that early onset Alzheimer's, when people hear it, they're like, ooh. But I can assure you that part might be heavy, but the crime is actually hysterical. I mean, there's a lot of humor in here because it wouldn't really be me if there wasn't some laughs. And there's great characterization. So I really, if you like a mystery with fun people like working their butts off to solve it, then this is your read right here. The shiny, shimmery, golden girl that I can't get in, that you can find in the bookstore. May it call to you from that glistening font.
Yay! Well, I can't wait to get into all the things of the Dancing Queen, and we're going to dive in just a moment. But first, I just want to welcome everybody who's watching live. We are broadcasting live to 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, and it is the pre-Valentine's Mystery Monday. So we are going to be red hot today.
Oh, I should have worn red.
Yeah, you got to be on brand with the bleeding X's and O's. That's okay. I'll be red hot for both of us. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you. Welcome, mystery-loving friends. You're in the right place. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Kim about this book, about pickles, about coffee, about Billie, her sassy protagonist, her fascination with Veronica Mars, how long it took. She's transitioned from YA to adult, what that was like, any of the questions, get them going in the comments. We have a mystery user saying, hi, Kimberly and Sara. Hi, friend. Welcome to the conversation. We have Renee joining us from Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee. Love your cute little doggy.
Yeah.
We have another mystery user saying, that is such an awesome cover. Let's look at the awesome cover one more time, Kimberly. So let's talk about this awesome cover. So first of all, we have these gorgeous fluorescent pink feathers floating around, and then the title itself is iridescent. It's disco
silver
sparkle.
Foil. That's what it kind of is. It's silver foil.
Yes.
So it catches in my nice basement light. You know.
So yes, I think it's an awesome cover too. Thanks so much for the comment. Renee saying Kimberly's book sounds like so much fun. Yes, it does sound so fun. Oh, one of our mystery users revealing herself as Wendy. Hi, Wendy, aka Catch a Clue. So good to have you here, friend. Renee saying you have been busy, Sara. Yay, it's Mystery Monday, Renee. Thanks so much for joining us, for tuning in. Renee wants to know, Kim, are you going on a book tour for this book? Give us the deets.
I am not. I mean, my tour is, I've been on a ton of podcasts. So if you want to hear me talk about the book, you can go to my website and I haven't done it yet. I will, I promise. Link to all the podcasts that I've been doing. So that's sort of my tour right now. I'll be at Thriller Fest and BoucherCon later this year. So if you are a reader and you're at those things, please flag me down. I'm pretty extroverted. I'll talk to everybody.
Yay. Thank you so much for asking that, Renee. And Kim, thanks for queuing up Thriller Fest. So, for those who are not familiar with Thriller Fest, that is International Thriller Writers, ITW's annual thriller conference and the premier thriller conference for thriller and mystery enthusiasts. It is in New York City from May 30th to June 4th. I will be on site. I'm the director of social media strategy for ITW, and I will be on site in the interrogation room, as I always am, conducting interviews, grilling people up good, and serving up snacks, because that's what I like to do. So, great news. I'm going to be giving away a ticket for one lucky winner. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming up later this spring, but tonight's the first night that I'm sharing this exciting news. So Renee, thanks for asking the question. Kim, thanks for queuing it up. Diane is joining us live from YouTube. She's saying, good evening, Sarah. Good evening, Kim. Hashtag Mystery Monday, all the hearts. And thank you for those red hearts staying on brand, Diane. Renee is saying George is now 20 months and has a big brother, Kane. He's 9 years old. They're both golden retrievers. Kim, do you have a dog or a cat?
I have a dog, Trevor. I could talk about my dog for an hour. Not that I will, but I could.
What kind of dog? Tell us about this dog.
So he's a rescue. I got him from 11th Hour in Rockaway Township, New Jersey, and he is a mix of Chow and Shepherd, Australian, German, I'm not really sure. But we've had him for 7 years. He's about 9 years old now, and he's my pride and joy because he is my easiest going creature in this house. Like, he's just so chill. He's always been that way. He's just a real chill dog. 50 pounds. He's not that big.
He's not that big. Okay, mine is
gorgeous, though. I will say that. If George Clooney was a dog, it would be Trevor.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. If George Clooney was a dog. Okay. I'm going to have, I feel like I need that on a t-shirt. If George
He's
Clooney
a really good look. Like, everybody goes, oh, he's so handsome. Like, you don't normally say that about pets. You're like, oh, what a cute dog. No, he's super handsome. He's chestnut. I wish he was in here with me. Normally he goes where I go, but I shut the basement door. Otherwise he would come down, open the door, check to see where mom is, then go back on his business. But I shut the basement doors. I bet he's hovering. He's like, where's mom?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Renee wants to know, can we come and watch the interviews at Thriller Fest? That is such an interesting idea. I've never had anyone ask that. You know what, Renee? You can come in with me. Come into my interrogation room and hang out and watch my interviews. Absolutely. Come on in. So for those who are curious, I'm going to pop the link to Thriller Fest into the comments. So here you can learn more and see. They haven't announced the full lineup yet, but trust me, it's going to be lit. Actually, Walter Mosley is going to be a guest of honor. Karen Slaughter will be there. Lisa Unger, Greg Hurwitz. Oh my God, it's going to be so great. Renee saying that is such a great line, Kim. If George Clooney was a dog. Yes, we need that on a t-shirt. Catch a clue. There you are. Oops, I just popped that down. She wants to know, where did you get the idea for this book? Yeah, because this is a crazy, it's a fun, fabulous idea. Where did you just pop in there? Give us the moment of inception.
Well, I've always been a fan of PI fiction. I just really enjoy it. Like Raymond Chandler, I love to read. It's, and it's incredibly I read it for the dialogue and for the characterization, but women are always portrayed like hysteric maniacs. It drives me crazy. But I love PI fiction and I love Veronica Mars. I watched the show. I watched the movies. I donated to the Kickstarter. I've read Rob Thomas's books. Like, I watched the Hulu season. I'll watch it all. And I really wanted more female private eyes that were like snarky and resourceful and and I still wanted that grit. I didn't want, I still wanted a little bit of grit, a little bit of darkness, that hard-boiled noir I like. So I was like, well, I could write Veronica Mars fan fiction, or I could just write my own PI, series featuring a protagonist that felt a little bit familiar to me, being from New Jersey, being Jewish, like those are things that I knew well. And so I just had this idea, like she came fully fleshed to me. I was like, oh, I picture her, young, because I really wanted to be able to tell her story over the long haul. But also I really wanted to explore what it was like to be starting your own life, your adulthood, but you can't do the things you want to do because you're really anchored to your family for health reasons. Like, like she couldn't just she has like these, she wanted to go abroad and travel, and she couldn't because, her mom needs her. So I really wanted to explore that. And so she came fully fleshed. And then, of course, you play the what if game. Well, what if she's broke? And, what if her boyfriend is a gangster? And like, what if she works in a deli? Like, that's funny. So all this stuff kind of comes to me, and then I plot for a very long time. I really spent a lot of time plotting.
And was there one moment, you said she arrived fully fleshed? Where do you remember where you were when she arrived fully fleshed? Were you driving? Were you writing? Were you running, meditating, taking a shower?
That's a good question. I probably, for all I know, I was driving, because sometimes I'll be like, you're driving and you're bored. I'm like, oh, I have this idea. And then you think, and then it percolates for a while. That spark, though, I couldn't tell you where I was or what I was doing. I mean, I'm sure I was driving. I'm always driving somewhere. So I was probably like, I have this idea. Let me write it down.
Thank you for the great question, Wendy. And Kim, thanks for the great answer. Renee wants to know, Kim, when did you start writing adult books, and why did you start writing adult books as opposed to YA? Yeah, tell us about that transition.
So I was writing YA that was my first, I have like 5 books that I've written in young adult. And when I had the idea for Billie, it really, she came to me as a young adult. Like, I think 24 is a young adult. It's weird that YA is called YA and not just teen fiction. But anyway, that's beside the point. She kind of came to me as a young adult. She didn't come to me as an adolescent, because then I really couldn't kind of explore. Like, one of the things that Billie has to really confront is that this could be her future. She is her mother's daughter, and Alzheimer's disease has a large genetic component. And I just didn't feel like that would jive if she was a teenager. I also don't think teenagers, if you were, 15, first of all, 15 would be really young. Your parent would be super young if they had Alzheimer's disease at that point. That's like a really specific gene that gets passed down. Only about 700 or 800 families might have that. Also, we don't really, as teenagers, we don't really face our future quite the same way we do as we get to be adults. And then we start to really get confronted with our future. So it wasn't just going to work for YA for that. And to be honest, I thought I would stay an indie author. My young adult stuff is independently published, and I thought I was going to stay an indie author. And so it's a lot easier to sell adult books, or you have more success with adult series in the indie market than you do for teens, because teens don't have credit cards linked to their Kindle accounts. So, if they're reading, they want physical books that they can see in a bookstore, that people are sharing on Goodreads, that they can swap with their friends. And indie books have a real hard time getting a hold in that kind of market. So I wasn't even reaching my audience that I was intending to reach with my YA. I was getting mostly adult readers. And then this idea came to me anyway. And I was like, let's do it.
Thank you for the great question, Renee. Kim, thank you for the great answer. Renee saying she grew up in Southern Jersey.
Oh.
Now, we're feeling the vibes here. We're feeling the vibes.
I'm from Central Jersey. It is a distinct area.
Wow. Diane would like to know, do you have any writing rituals? If so, what are they? Yeah, tell us about that. Do you sit down? Do you brew a special coffee in a special cup? Do you pet Trevor the dog, the George Clooney of dogs? What's your ritual?
I don't really have a ritual. I do need to put on my headphones with some classical music from YouTube. That YouTube has like 5 hours of classical music uninterrupted. So I will put that on with my headphones in order to draft, or I get too distracted by everything around me. So if I hear a noise, the dryer goes off, you know what I mean? If my kids are bothering me or something, I can't focus. So if I really just want to be in the zone, it's headphones, classical music, and then I sit and I work. That's kind of my only ritual. It's just what I need to function, to make words happen. So that's kind of what I do. But I don't need it to edit. When I'm I'm in a zone. You couldn't drop a pan near me. I'm in a zone when I edit. It's very different.
So you sit down, you put on your headphones, and you put on 5 hours of classical music on which you stream.
I don't work for 5 hours. It's just there's like tons of YouTube like videos that are 5 hours worth of classical music. Usually it says for studying, for concentration, for creativity. There might be Chopin or something like that, Beethoven, Mozart. I just pick one as long as it's continuous and there's no, because if I use Spotify, I don't pay for the premium, so I'll get into commercials. I can't have anything I can sing along to. I can't have anything that has like a, a beat I know. It has to be classical because it kind of just blends into the background. It works.
I love that.
Yeah.
Renee wants to know, is the PI, Billy, based on you or your own wishes? Yeah. Are you, Elizabeth Gilbert has famously said that every novel is a memoir and every memoir is a novel. So are you, Billy? Do you want to be sitting in the corner booth with a free access to unlimited pickles and coffee and chasing down crime? Tell us about that.
I would like to hang out in a deli and write, but no, I don't want to be a PI. I wish one of the things I love about Billie, and I think that resonates with readers, is she's very self-assured and resourceful, and she's smart. And I am none of those things. Like, not when I was 24. I wasn't resourceful, and I was fumbling through life. And maybe Billie's fumbling through life too, but like as a PI, she's pretty damn good. So, I wish I could have been like her, but I don't want her job. It's stressful. Like, they're definitely part of Billie's aspects that are very personal to me. And but her actual job does not sound like a delight. I like to stay at home too. I like to travel. I don't want to tail anybody. I don't want to have to confront neo-Nazis in a bathroom in a park. You know what I mean? I don't want that. So, but I do love her interactions with people, and I love like just her sibling relationship. My brother and I have a good relationships, which is so like, their banter and stuff I can base on my brother and I. And I love Billie's relationship with her grandfather. Like my grandpa, I'm 44, so my grandpa's not alive anymore. But Billie's relationship with her grandfather is just a gem. It's fun to write, and her grandpa is a lot of fun to write. So like, I kind of wish that dude was around.
Do you feel comfortable sharing the parts that are like Billie that you referenced?
Yeah, well, I have a family member who has dementia. Their symptoms present differently than Billie's mother's. So but a lot of Billie's fears are very personal. Like, I get the fear of wondering what your future is going to be like. Where all that comes from is from me. That is me for sure. Yeah. I'm working on the next book, and some of the relationships, with her dad and stuff, I kind of dredged up a little bit there too. So, that stuff, like a lot of her, family dynamics, and her relationship with her grandfather is just, it's just fun. It's fun to write a curmudgeon-y Jewish man. I can take a little bit from my grandpa, although he's really nothing like my grandpa, just how I kind of imagine he might be, and have a lot of fun with that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I let people submit questions in advance. So let's take a few of those for people who will be watching with us later who couldn't make it live. So first up from Leica, and she would like to know, this is from Leica Newallen, and she would like to know, Kim, how has the process of publishing your first book changed your writing process since then, if it has changed it at all?
My writing process.
So has there been more pressure? Has it helped you be more focused? Or maybe it hasn't, and that's okay too.
I never really thought about it, to be honest. I'm definitely more efficient plotter now. Like, I don't, the expression, fart around too much, with my plotting anymore. So I have a nice 4-act structure that I like to use. And so it really aids in what, I'm not falling, like, there's no structural rewrites anymore for me. Let's not say that's ever going to happen, but I've been really lucky with a lot of, like, with this book in particular, it's probably the cleanest manuscript I've ever submitted to anybody.
Wow.
I know. I told my editor, I was like, don't get comfortable with that. Like, can't guarantee that's a thing that'll happen again. But my plotting and my structure, have really improved since writing the first book. And my voice, your voice always improves, and writing always gets tighter and stronger, I think, with every book. So my process, I'm still a really procrastinating kind of writer. It's like, oh, could I write, or should I clean the house? Oh, I'll clean the house. I don't want to clean the house, but I kind of don't feel like drafting either, because it's work and I get scared, when you sit down and you're like, what if the words don't come? So there's that.
Yeah. What do you do when the words don't come?
They come, they always come. They just kind of come crappy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right. She walked into the room. Next, sometimes dialogue is not usually it's not difficult for me, dialogue, but I'm like, oh, I got to describe this place and I can't, or I can't, the conflict. I'm like, oh, what is the conflict here? I forgot, stuff like that. So then you're kind of grasping a bit, or, it's just like, this is crap. Let's go to the next scene. And then I'll go back later when I'm better.
Diane would like to know, what do you do to decompress when you finish a book? Great question.
Same thing I do when I'm trying to write the book, which is like, whatever, potchka around, whatever I feel like doing. I never, I did, so edits, drafting is drafting, it's different, but edits, I will be incredibly focused, insanely focused when I do edits or revisions or anything like that. And I will work for hours, like all day. I will work on edits. Every break I will work on edits. That is like that. And then I need I need to mentally decompress. So TV, read something else, go outside like a normal person, see sunshine, stuff like that.
Renee would like to know, do you outline, and can you tell us what that looks like?
I absolutely 100% outline. I do a 4-act structure. So usually like the first act is like, who are these people that I'm introducing you to? The second act, like, and at the end of the first act, there's usually a crime, like a body, the dead body. We have that somewhere in the beginning, right? And then the second act is, my protagonist trying to figure out what happened based on logic in the beginning, right? Like what makes the most sense? What's the obvious answer here? And then in the third act, she realizes she's kind of screwed everything up a little bit. And now she needs to change course and really focus. And she's got a little bit more info, and then she's more directed, and she knows what's at stake. And then, and usually the second act, there's another dead body. So like, I like 2 dead bodies. I think it's fun. And then the fourth act sort of, culminates with, aha, you did this and why, and blah, blah, blah. And then, we slowly come down from that, and the story arc comes to an end. So that's my 4-act structure that works for me, and also works for PD James, because I believe that's where I got it from. And no, yeah, I didn't make it up, but it works for me. And my plots are intense. I did like
How are they intense?
People have told me they're complicated. Like I throw everything in the kitchen sink at my plots, and it's probably true. I don't want anybody to guess, right away. Like I don't want to make it super obvious. Sometimes because I write in the genre, when I read mysteries now, I'm like, I think I know who did it. And then it's like learning why they did it, right? It's the why done it, not the who done it. So I have a tendency to have a lot of twists and turns and unexpected things and red herrings and stuff. So that like you are surprised by the end. You're like, oh, I should have figured that out. And then you go back and then you reread the clues. And that's what I want from my mysteries. So I have a tendency to overcomplicate things because I do have fun doing it. I'm like, what if we do this? Genius. Let's write that down. And then I'm like, but to get there, I got to go a myriad of ways. It's fun. You won't be bored. I promise.
Diane, thank you for the question about how to plot. And Renee, thank you for the question of if she does plot. So, outline. So thank you so much for that. Diane saying she lived in Secaucus for a while. Very cool. We got a lot of Jersey in the house tonight.
Please bring me your Jersey.
This lady needs a bagel and some logs. Renee was wondering if someone in your family does or have had Alzheimer's. If so, she's so sorry that you went through that. Yes.
It is really, yeah. I mean, and it's hard because Alzheimer's disease is not something you can actually diagnose, I think, until you do an autopsy. So sometimes people are just diagnosed as having general dementia. But dementia can come in different forms. It doesn't have to be Alzheimer's disease. It's a really complicated, there's late onset, there's early onset. So it can be very complicated for families because you can just have, there's people I've known like in my life who have had like some type of dementia that's not necessarily Alzheimer's disease, and they're not exactly sure what caused it. Strokes can cause dementia. So in doing the research, there were some aspects I really, early onset is a very specific thing that I had to research, and I wanted to make sure that it rang true. Like I can have fun with the crimes. Like I can play around with Jewish mobsters and be ridiculous, like how many, there's no more Jewish mobsters, but I can have fun with that history of like Bugsy Siegel and Meyer Lansky and pretend it's sort of bleeding into a modern day, like Tony Soprano, like kind of character. But when it comes to some of the more serious things I tackle, I want to be a little bit more authentic.
It's interesting because there's a really great book called Bad Jews that's a history of Jewish mobsters. I don't know if you read that for research.
No, but now I will.
I read it for research for my book, and it's really interesting because prior to the turn of the century, like from the early 1900s, the mobsters in New York were actually Irish. So that the crime was run by Big Tim Sullivan. And then Arnold Rothstein, who was known as the Brain and who is credited with fixing the 1919 World Series, he came in and he mechanized crime, and he became he mechanized crime and is famous for having made crime run smoothly like a well-run organization, a violent, well-run corporate entity. And then the Italian mobsters that came up under him are actually the ones that then, after he was shot and killed in a hotel, which remains unsolved to this day, in 1928, the Italian lieutenants and his then took over, and that's where the Italian mafia got their start. So it's really interesting to see the transition from Irish to Jewish to Italian mafia in New York, and then how that spread across the country. Fascinating stuff.
I love this stuff. I always tell this story because so Bugsy Siegel and Meyer Lansky start, like, they were part of Murder Incorporated, which was, again, like a organized crime like corporation. And my grandmother always told me that her aunt had connections to Murder Incorporated because she hung out with either some of the girlfriends, or she might have been a girlfriend. She wasn't super clear on that, but she thought she might have had connections to the murder book, like a black book of names, that of maybe, victims and things like that. But Bugsy Siegel, it's also rumored in my family that he knew my great grandparents because he was like someone from the neighborhood. So I've always been really fascinated with Jewish history, particularly in relationship to organized crime, because really it grew up out of survival in the tenements, which is where my family comes from, the Lower East Side. So I love exploring this. It's just fun. And it's just also fun because it's so far removed now. Like, it wouldn't be cool if they were around now. They were awful.
Yeah, I mean, these were not nice people. And of course, those fans of Boardwalk Empire will recognize Arnold Rothstein as a cameo who started fencing drugs and booze down the drug trail, which ran from New York down to Atlantic City, and then were in the coast to Philadelphia, and then from there out to Chicago and west. And so that's how they moved drugs and bootleg liquor during Prohibition through the states. And it's really fascinating stuff to trace the history of this. Ooh, Renee wants to know, how many books do you plan on writing in the series?
As many as my publisher will let me. I mean, I'll just keep doing it, but read them. So if the sales are good, then they'll just be like, oh, we'll commission all of them. You know what I mean? I'm working on the second one now.
So we're talking K. Scarpetta, 36 books down the line.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Because Billy's 24. I got lots of room to play with her age.
Oh, I see.
Like, I did that on purpose. I don't want to age her. Yeah. Let her grow up. But yeah, this isn't the Babysitter's Club. She can age.
Babysitter's Club.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, I would like to just write as many as I can. I'm working on the second book now. And that's, speaking of a crazy plot, just accept it. If you're going to read my book, just be like, all right, Kim's going to plot something nuts. I'm just going to go for it. Like, just know it. Because sometimes people are like, oh, there's a lot here. I'm like, yes.
Diane saying thank you, Kim, and thank you, Sarah, for answering your question. Of course, Diane, always a pleasure to have you. And we are here to connect all together in this community of crime-loving, mystery-loving, thriller-loving folks. So that's what we're here for. This is to have this conversation. Sarah, welcome to the conversation. Good evening to you. So happy to see you join us. Thank you. Renee saying thank you for sharing, Kim. Thanks for asking, Renee. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody's thing. Renee saying anything beats cleaning the house. Exactly. I find myself being like, maybe I need to scrub the bathroom down. Yeah, the least palatable tasks suddenly become unavoidable.
Yeah, when I'm folding laundry, then I'm avoiding work because I never want to fold laundry.
Exactly. The book is out tomorrow, fam, and here is the link to pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. So grab your copy today, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will send it out to you tomorrow. So I'm going to pop that link up no matter where you're watching, Facebook or YouTube. You can click and order right here so that you too can immerse yourself in the world of delis, pickles, coffee, Billie, crime, PI, all the good things. Diane saying, sounds like a plan for at least 36 books in the series.
I've got the ideas. It's there.
Renee saying happy pub day. Yeah, it's out tomorrow. She's stopping by early today to give us the inside scoop. Diane saying thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, this is so great. I want to get into, we're actually out of time, but I want to get into a bit of the praise that this book has earned. So let's take a peek at some of these amazing blurbs. Let's kick off with Publishers Weekly, which deemed Billie an appealing and resourceful protagonist with realistic personal problems. I'm going to pop that up so we can all read it together. Complements an intricate plot filled with valid suspects and motives. Readers will want to see more of Billie. Yay. So let's take a look at also some of the other amazing press. Kim just got a fantastic rave review from the New York Times Book Review. I'm going to pop that up as well. And they said, we can all read this together. What a joy to keep readerly company with the, with Billie Levine, the newly minted and somewhat reluctant private detective who takes her bow in Death of a Dancing Queen. Here we have that amazing review. That was in this weekend's Fridays. Was it Fridays?
It was Friday online, and then it was in the Sunday print. I have the print at home.
Yay.
Upstairs. Yeah. I'm going to frame it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I would have a tattoo. You should maybe tattoo it on your body somewhere. Forward reviews deems this a gripping mystery in which a novice private investigator quests to solve her biggest cases yet. And that is not even the all there is. So many amazing reviews. Kate Moretti, who's been on a couple times with her fabulous books, says that nothing stops badass Jersey girl Billie Levine from confronting mobsters, meth heads, and crooked cops to catch a killer. Yeah. Y'all be sure to check this out. Here is the link once again. Pre-order right here. I'm going to pop it up again. So no matter where you're watching from, you can grab your copy. Renee saying, thank you, Kim and Sarah. Such a great discussion. Renee, thank you so much for joining us. Diane clapping for us. Thank you. And Renee saying, wow, incredible. Y'all, it has been such a pleasure to be here with you. Kim, thanks for joining us live from the Poconos with all things Death of a Dancing Queen. Y'all, thank you for tuning in and joining us.
Thank you.
And I will be back at the top of the hour with Rachel Kohler-Croft joining us with Stone Cold Fox from LA.
Well, I'm going to have to tune in because that book looks amazing.
Yeah, that first line is a real hook.
I love, first of all, the cover is so iconic.
Yes, I have it. Let me grab it. It's right under my poisonous snake plant. The cover is iconic.
I mean, it looks like a Vogue advertisement. Like it really
does.
It looks, or like it's really stunning. So
our third Berkeley author of the day. All right, y'all, go get a snack, get a drink, come back, and I'll see you at the top of the hour. Kim, congratulations on your rave review and all of the reviews and praise that this book has earned. Happy pub day to you.
Thank you, Sarah.
This was great. To coming back when your next book is out, when your next Billie book is out.
Yes, and in order for that to happen, we all have to buy this and support.
Yes, and support our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course,
and leave reviews.
By the book. Yay! All right, y'all. I'll see you at the top of the hour.
Thank you.